I did a podcast the other day. I was a guest on a podcast, the Desire to Trade podcast. I think it's desiretotrade.com. I'm going to post the link in the description of this podcast, so if you're interested, you could check it out. Today, though, I want to talk about, I made some mistakes last week. I made some good trades and some bad trades, kind of canceled out my week. And they're two familiar foes. So I was just thinking back about the week, and I think other people probably have similar things that pop up, but I'm going to share it just in case it helps. So the first one is moving the goalposts when you're in a trade. This is an old one that has gotten me so many times. And when you do that, the results or the negative byproduct of it is a lot more than just the one trade, because it can really screw your mindset up and mess up the rest of your trades. So I had a trade on and it was going really well, and it started off well right away. So that was good. And I thought, well, this looks great. So I'll talk to a friend and see what he thinks, because I have a friend who was in a similar trade. So I asked him what he thought, and he thought, oh, I think it's going to go a lot lower, and this is what I'm looking at. And I had a plan, and I decided that I'm going to go with his plan. And it's not that he was right, or it has nothing to do with who was right or wrong. It was just that I had a plan, I changed it. And then it went down, and it would have gotten me out for a nice trade. But instead, I changed my order, and it never got down to the other area, and it came back. And then since it came back, started going against me, not against me, but back. It eventually did go against me, but it went kind of eating my profit back. I'm thinking to myself, I'm just frozen right now, and I don't really have a plan for how I'm going to handle this, because I never thought about, I'm so upset that I blew my trade by changing my exit, and now I don't really know what the hell to do with this thing. So that was problem number one. Then the byproduct of that is it bled into my other trades, and I made some other mistakes, and I just got in cranky, irritated mood, and it just set me off. And I think anyone who's done this can understand what that's like. So it just pisses you off. And then the second thing that happens, which is, it shouldn't happen, it's not rational, but it just does sometimes, is I wanted to make my money back in the area I lost it. So then I'm in there trying to trade this instrument to make my money back. And I'm trying to find things to do in there to kind of correct the mistake, which was an original good trade that I just changed the idea in the middle for some other reason outside of myself. And that's not a healthy thing to do either. It's slightly irrational, but it happens at times. And it's something I need to think about and ask why. And I'm still digging into that a little bit, but that kind of unwound me for the week and screwed up the rest of my week. And then I had to, so on Friday, this happened on like Wednesday or Thursday or something. And on Friday, I did the best thing I could do, which is kind of hang out and not make it worse and just kind of sit with it. And then now I think I'm mostly healed up mentally this weekend. I'm reflecting on it now, sharing it with you guys, and just going to go forward and correct that mistake. It probably happens again at some time to me, but hopefully not next week. And it's just one of those, you have to keep going through it sometimes. It's one of those lessons that I've been through before, but I was trading decently well, and then it just moved the goalpost like that, and it screwed me up. It just threw me off. And it's a self-defeating thing. It doesn't have to happen that way, but it's very important when you start to have a little bit of success, you look for reasons to keep it going or to extend it. And also, you know what happens when you're trading well, your stuff goes your way right away. And then maybe you get out too early and you're thinking, oh, I was in this move and look at how much further it went. But when you're trading well, you're in early, and a lot of times you get out early and you're frustrated, but it's also a sign that you're seeing the market while you're doing the right things. And eventually what happens if you stay with it is you start catching those trades and taking more out of them. But I had that happen. And I think moving my trade target in the middle of the trade, which, okay, sometimes that makes sense to do, right? Sometimes, but usually when it's a little tactical trade you're doing or whatever the reason is you're in it, usually you've thought ahead of time a pretty clear, setup for what you want to get. And when you're moving that around, especially talking to other people and moving it around, that's usually not a good setup for you. And even if it does work, it's not about it working. It's about, is it repeatable? Is there a reason why? Is it repeatable for me to always talk to other people and change my trades? No, probably not. Well, this one time I did it, and it just threw me off mentally. I was unable to, because the thing is, I didn't have a plan after it didn't work. Like the whole idea of me changing it would have got me out, but it didn't. And now it's coming back against me. I didn't think through, now what am I going to do? So I kind of just froze a little bit. And I think that's when the frustration just builds. So if you're going to do it, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to change this. But if it doesn't work, then I'm going to do this. That's the spot where I didn't get to. And I think that's ultimately what caused me to have frustration.